What's up, guys? It's MB Boxing, and today I'm going to be predicting the outcome of Samuel Vargas versus Vergil Ortiz Jr., which will be a 12-rounder for the WBA Gold Welterweight Championship. This fight will be broadcasted live on DAZN Friday, July 24th, 2020, from Indio, California, at the Fantasy Springs Resort and Casino. And before I get into both fighters, I just got to say, I missed the fights last week because they were changed main events, and in my opinion, I thought I wouldn't really get a lot of views on them, but both fights last week on Top Rank really turned out to be great shows, as Michaela Mayer put on a boxing clinic versus Helen Joseph to put herself higher ranked and probably fight for a world title next as she improves to 13-0. And on Thursday, Felix Verdejo won by knockout to improve to 27-1. And originally was supposed to be Oquendo versus Herring for the WBO title last week on Tuesday. And Miguel Mariaga was supposed to fight on Thursday against a journeyman. But since both main events were changed, I did not have too much time to plan for a next video, so I just left it at that. And now we're here to get into both fighters. Vergil Ortiz is 15-0. All 15 wins by knockout. BoxRec has him ranked number 21 in the world at the welterweight division. I actually have him ranked a little higher. I have him ranked number 15 in the world. And he's currently the WBA Gold World Champion. And I'm not too sure if that's really a real belt, guys. Comment down below. What do you think? The WBA does have 4 champions that they do recognize as world champions. It's not like the WBA International, WBA Intercontinental, all that. They recognize them as champions. They have the Super Champion, the Gold Champ, Normal Champion, and the Interim Champion. In my opinion, I think we should just stick to the old days, which was just the normal belt and the interim belt, because that's what every other sanctioning body has. And I know the WBC has the Diamond belt, but those don't really count as belts. Those are really more as like trophies, as Mauricio Suleiman said. Same with the WBC Mayan belt when Fury and Wallen fought for it about a year ago. And Vergil Ortiz, in my opinion, is one of the best prospects out there, similar to Ryan Garcia. Both fighters from California, both have great knockout power, and both are featured on DAZN, and they're both very young. And in my opinion, Vergil Ortiz, if he wins this fight by knockout, he could definitely fight for a world title, maybe versus Best Putin, but I did hear Alexander Best Putin may be fighting Yordenis Ugas, or Ortiz maybe could challenge Manny Pacquiao for his WBA crown, or possibly fight for the interim belt next, since he's got the gold belt. And Ortiz is already coming off of a good win versus Brad Solomon, who is 28-1 going into that fight, and he's already featured 2 main event cards, as I said before, when he fought Brad Solomon, and he fought 28-1 Riziko, where he won the WBA gold title in October of 2019. He won by knockout round 6, and that was, I believe, one of the first welterweight fights for the gold belt. Actually, I think that was the first fight for the gold belt, as the WBA gold belt is actually kind of new belt. I believe it came out in like January of 2019, I believe so. And I think Vergil Ortiz was the first welterweight to capture that world title. And his opponent, Samuel Vargas, even though he's only 31, I think he's sort of turning into a journeyman, as he's fought a lot of big names, and he's lost all those big names. He's sort of a fight for a lot of up-and-coming prospects. I know he did have a good fight versus Amir Khan, where he lost by unanimous decision. He was really getting outboxed in that fight. And in my opinion, I don't think he could really beat a top contender, being that he's already faced a lot of top guys and lost, as he lost to only 2 guys by knockout out of his 5 defeats. And I forgot to mention, he has 31 wins, 5 losses, 2 draws, with only 14 knockouts. And the thing is, Ortiz actually has more knockouts than him, and he has less than double the fights than Vargas has. And Vargas is definitely not a power puncher. He's coming off a win via unanimous decision over a guy who was 37-24, and before that he lost by split decision to, I believe, Godoy is his name. And Vargas also his losses to his only KO losses are to Errol Spence Jr., who's a unified welterweight champion, and he's still undefeated, and to Danny Garcia, who's a former world champion, and who's definitely one of the top welterweight contenders. And as I said before, he has a loss to Amir Khan, who's also a former world champion as well. And all his other losses aren't to really great opponents, and that's more recently, as his loss to Amir Khan was in 2018, and his loss to Garcia and Spence were, I believe, on the PBC days in like 2016, 2015, when Spence was just a prospect. But my prediction for this fight is probably Vergil Ortiz getting the knockout, maybe in round number 5 or number 6, as that's really what's been happening so far. Vergil Ortiz batters them for like 5 rounds, then he gets them beat up to the point where he could just knock them out in round 5, maybe round 6, as that's what he did to Brad Sullivan and to Orizidico, where he won the WBA gold title. And definitely after this fight, I could see him fighting for a world title, as I said before, as he's already highly ranked by the WBA since he's a gold champion, and getting a win versus a seasoned professional could definitely get him a world title shot that he really wants. And yeah, that's really it. I'm going to be boxing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.